sa mag-test. Ito lang. Dahil talalas na.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning, Anne. Good morning, Bill. Good morning, David and Karen Rogers.
Good morning. You call everybody.
Good morning, Jeffrey. Good morning, Larry. Good morning, Walter and Anna Rose Lowe. Good morning, everybody.
Sorry, everybody. Good morning. Maybe you
I want to go through and say good morning to everybody, but
yeah.
Top of the morning.
top of the morning to you. The rest of the day to myself. All right, let's begin with a greeting. Chanji, Chambo Manemke, Kyungbe. Oh. And Emily, Kajong Mengse.
Please join me in the pledge. 가정 맹세 1. 전원국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 번향 땅을 찾아 번연의 창조 이상인 지상 천국과 천상 천국을 창건할 것을 맹세하나이다. 2. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 하늘 부모님과 참 부모님을 모시어 천주의 대표적 가정이 되며 중심적 가정이 되어 가정에서는 효자, 국가에서는 충신, 세계에서는 성인, 천주에서는 성자의 가정의 도리를 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 3. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 4대 신정권과 3대 왕권과 황족권을 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 4. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 하늘 부모님의 창조 이상인 천주 대가족을 형성하여 자유와 평화와 통일과 행복의 세계를 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 5. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 매일 주체적 천상세계와 대성적 지상세계의 통일을 향해 전진적 발전을 촉진화할 것을 맹세하나이다. 6. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 하늘 부모님과 참 부모님의 대신 가정으로서 천운을 움직이는 가정이 되어 하늘의 축복을 주변에 연결시키는 가정을 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 7. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 본연의 혈통과 연결된 위하는 생활을 통하여 신정 문화 세계를 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 8. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 천일국 시대를 맞이하여 절대 신앙, 절대 사랑, 절대 복종으로 신인의 일체 이상을 이루어 지상 천국과 천상 천국의 해방권과 석방권을 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다.
맹세하나이다. Thank you, Emily. Your Korean reading is very clear, easy to follow. Thank you so much. Okay, let's put our mind towards gratitude and think of what you're grateful for and go to our groups and share about it.
Prayer.
Oh, let's pray. Jeez, after all these days, you think I know what I'm doing, but obviously not. Too much talking, my wife said. Okay. All right. I would like to ask Katrine if you could open us up in prayer, please.
Our dearest, beloved Heavenly Parent, thank you so much for this opportunity to be here this morning with brothers and sisters. We're so grateful for that. Above all, we want to start our day with you, focus our lives upon you and upon our precious true mother on this earth at this time in history. That is the time to witness, witness, and witness. So, dearest beloved God, I pray we could organize ourselves for each of us in our lives, how we can do it. Our dearest beloved God, we know this is the time of prayer. Prayer, the chanting one prayer in all of our lives, prayer in our online holy ground right here. We offer this day to you gratefully. And again, I pray that you could speak to us through our prayers, through our sharing, through your precious word from the two parents. We offer this prayer gratefully. Amen. Aju.
Thank you, Katrine. All right, now let's go to our groups and be grateful. Recording in progress. All right, everybody. Yesterday I met with Damien Dunkley, who is in Korea. He's meeting True Mother in Korea. We were supposed to have a 1-hour meeting. It was cut short because he got a message that Mother wanted to see him right then. And I just want to tell you that he's a really special guy in the Providence right now. He has Mother's ear. Mother really wants to hear from him. He wrote a letter to Mother a while ago. It was like a 10-page letter. And then Mother asked all the Korean churches to read this letter and learn about attendance from Damien Dunkley. So he's kind of a superstar in Korea right now. Anyway, yeah, Mother really trusts him and trusts what he has to tell her, because he recognizes her heart. He recognizes who she is and the essence of the only begotten daughter, and Mother hasn't had that much support, honestly speaking. She's had a lot of opposition, and most people thought of Mother as just, well, she's the one who has the baby, so she's like a backup. She's behind the scenes. But in fact, Mother is the only begotten daughter, and she's not the second coming, she's the first coming, and we need to support her more and understand her more, not just for her sake, but for our sake, so that we can understand how to promote who she is. If people don't recognize who True Mother is, then they're missing the opportunity while she's here. So yeah, it's really up to us to pray desperately at this time. Your prayers will be answered much more than before. It's not the same age as a couple of weeks ago. Things have changed, and our prayers are different. And especially, we can set up prayer halls as soon as possible. And then really have a strong prayer, and God will guide you on whatever issues you're dealing with, much more than before. And a lot of people around the country are testifying that, their prayer life has changed. And so, yeah, let's really believe the time is different. Let's believe in True Mother. Let's really be ready for a golden age of breakthrough. It's, whatever we did in the past was fine, and we celebrate victories, but none of those victories were enough. None of those victories have taken us where we need to be. So we need a whole new mindset, a whole new frame of thinking to, if we carry on the way we're going, we're probably going backwards, not forwards, in terms of membership. So something has to grow, something has to change. And what really needs to change is our understanding of who True Mother is and the time that we're living in. And then God needs to work in a mighty way. So that's what's going on. So yeah, that's my gratitude this morning. Okay. Anyone else like to share gratitude? Susan?
I'm very happy that you said what you just said. Yesterday, I read a letter from Damien Dunkley about Berrytown. And of course, I live here in LA, so Berrytown is way in my past. But I think that we need to, I don't know, I can't say for other people, but I mean, I don't think I want to speak for other people, but I think there's something about, especially us first generation members who are older, having attachments to our things, attachments to material things. I think for me, I want to really get rid of things that are no longer serving a good purpose for me, and start using things and opening my mindset to the future. Like, oh, how do I explain it? Like new wine into new wineskins. That's the point. Okay.
Amen.
Yeah.
All right.
Sound
Good,
nice.
good thinking, Susan.
Mhm.
All right. Thank you. Alan Davies.
Yes, good morning, family. Thank you so much for that report, Pastor Thompson. That was really, really great. I like that. I'd like to thank Susan Monsell yesterday for a great meeting. I remember just way back in the day, my wife and I, every time there was an event or something down here in San Diego, we'd look at LA, and for years we'd always go, up there's Susan Monsell. She's always there, you know, way back in the days. And so she had a very, very valuable meeting, I thought, where we just shared, you know, and heard from her, and she was explaining some of the pitfalls and her successes and everything. And it was just a really good meeting. One of those meetings where everybody wanted to talk and everybody wanted to say things. So thank you very much, Susan, for that. And I understand that there's going to be 2 more meetings like that, but just, it was really valuable. I know that used to be the TribeNet call. There was a bunch of us way back years ago, and we just shared our successes and you know, what was going on. And it was anyway, just a very valuable meeting, and I look forward to the next one. Thank you, Susan.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Susan. All right. We got a whole lineup here, so we don't need any more gratitude people. We got June and Wayne and Steve and Paula. So June, your turn.
Oh, yeah. I was wondering if Stephen Edwards might be able to share his news about Pakistan. Wow, that's amazing. Would you mind, Steve?
Yeah, if it's okay with Reverend Thompson.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so yesterday had great news. We've been working with Pakistan and, you know, to do the blessings and things. Problem was we couldn't get holy wine into the country because it's a banned substance. It's illegal. The government, we tried to get it in 2 months ago, and they confiscated it. And so we had 20 couples ready for the blessing, but we had no holy wine. So we paid for the national leader and her husband to go to Dubai, get the holy wine, and come back. Finally, after 4 hours of interrogation at customs, they were let in with the holy wine. So the internal point is that sister, Rena Das, who's the national leader, loves Mother more than anybody I know. She loves Mother. She was desperate to go and meet Mother or attend Mother in May. She was blocked by the Korean consulate from doing that. But she made a poem for True Mother.
Oh, yeah, that was really.
And she, out of 2 people who were allowed to write a letter, and Mother said, I asked Damien to read it to her, read Rena's letter, poem, and he did. And she was ecstatic, and she became more and more convicted to do even more, you know. So that was a huge victory for all of us yesterday. And, you know, I couldn't even sleep. I was up all night, you know, worrying. I finally got the news this morning at around 4 o'clock that they got the holy wine. So that's my gratitude.
Yeah, wonderful.
And she loves Damien, because Damien was the one who advocated about her to True Mother. So she loves Damien to death.
That's
So,
one of the letters content.
Yeah, Damien shared with us about that,
yeah.
poem that she wrote for True Mother. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So we take holy wine for granted, right? we can get it easily, but yeah, in Pakistan, probably other countries, very difficult. Thank you for sharing, Steve. All right, Wayne.
My gratitude is going to echo what Alan spoke about. I also attended Susan's training, teaching, reminding, encouraging us to learn to deal with pastors. And then from that, I get a deeper sense that they're simply part of our family. and they must be treated as such. Different views, of course, but we need, through love, will be able to change that. But the key that Susan brought up is accept the love that they give in the form that they're giving it. Go to listen. So very good words. I look forward to the other 2 sessions that are coming up.
Excellent. Excellent. Susan taught me a few years ago that when you go to churches and they're shouting about Jesus all the time, I used to get frustrated. But if you know that Jesus and Father are one, then you just think, oh, well, Father's one with Jesus, so it's okay. It's like they're shouting about Father. All right, Steve Bowley.
Yeah, good morning. I'm just so thankful. It's such proof that God is alive when I start to understand why True Mother chose Reverend Dunkley, and he just has such the pulse of True Mother, right? And I'm really thankful to you, Pastor, because you have, you're the most intuitive pastor I've ever met, and you really have an intuitive connection with the providence, and I'm thankful for that. But I'm just realizing, as you just said, that how powerful prayers are now. I'm doing a 40-day condition, and I'm finding that the power of the prayer and the connection with God that I feel is so intense and is so strong, and it's changed the way I look at things. It's changing the way that I see reality, and I'm real. And then God just said, you need to have new eyes, right? It's not another chapter, as Reverend Dunkley said. I think in my own life, I need to open a new book and start to write in it. So anyway, my testimony yesterday, I was at the park. I stopped, took a break at work, and I was walking around this park. I go there to see the kids and families, and I'm walking, and lo and behold, a woman walks up next to me, and about my age, and she says, "Oh, are you walking along around the trail?" She asked me how far it was, and I said, "Yeah." She said, "You mind if I walk with you?" I said, "Sure." So she started sharing her testimony. She's a recent widow, and anyway, long story short, her husband of 10 years past, he's a veteran, and I always have a heart for veterans. And she's from Mexico. Long line of Catholic nuns, grew up in a women's school, a really devout woman. And I could feel her husband with her, right? So, holy wine, we're talking about holy wine. I realized, I have holy wine with me, but I don't have my forms. So I just said, okay, Heavenly Parent, I'm just going to offer this to you. So I came back, I shared with her about the blessing pledge and about your parents. And, I took the holy wine and I got her information, and I prayed with her. And I guess I just realized that God is preparing people, and I have to be ready, and I wasn't ready necessarily, but it's such a different time now. And I'm grateful for that, grateful for everything this morning. Thank you.
All right.
Wow.
Grateful for everything. That's the way to go.
Mm.
All right. Thank you for that testimony, Steve. Very nice. Appreciate it. And Paula.
Yeah, thank you. Good morning, Reverend Thompson. Yeah, very grateful here also in the LA area. Yesterday we're continuing, with those ministers that had the 2-day workshop at Pasadena House a few weeks ago. And so yesterday we had 5 pastors, ministers that came, and 7 brothers and sisters here at our house. And we continued studying about Jesus's lineage. And so we talked about the book of Ruth, and even the cleansing of the lineage. And it was amazing because they really were listening and cooperating with one another. So it is because it's a smaller meeting here, so people are much closer. And I also want to really thank all the brothers and sisters that came, because I think as we witness, as we teach, and it's important to get the support, and then also we can truly inspire one another to go out and witness. And talk about true parents, true mother, especially at this moment. I think that's why we're really talking a lot about, women's role. And also another thing was like a few weeks, 2-3 weeks ago, I was just walking outside and there's these two young men talking to me, saying, "Good morning, how are you?" And I'm like, okay, it's gotta be the Mormons, because how else young people would talk, right? So I said, "So are you Mormons?" They go, "No, we're with the Church of Jesus Christ of the Latter-day Saints." I said, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I must have not said the right thing." Anyway, so to make a long story short, they came and they asked me, "Well, what's the vision of your church?" I said, "Well, basically, it's the family unit. We need to have the core of the family, and then we can resurrect, everything." So they said, "Wow, you guys talk exactly the same as us." So they were so inspired. They took out their family proclamation. And so we visited their church on Sunday, and then they wanted to continue to study with us. They said, "Oh, we want to introduce you more about our studies, how we do." And then I said, "Okay, that's fine. So you teach me 1 week about your church, and I'll teach you 1 week about my church." So now we're taking turns every week. So I'm going to learn a lot about the Mormons, but they're going to learn a lot about true parents as well. Yeah, and then just one last thing. Also tomorrow we're going to have another minister couple. It's going to come over here and teaching the divine principle also. So except for the Latter-day Saints, these are Latino ministers, and Reverend Jose Rafael Sanchez is the one who's teaching us and sharing with us in the evenings. So thank you so much, everybody, brothers and sisters.
Wow.
Yeah, let's connect with God's heart. Thank you so much.
Paula is the most.
Beautiful.
Pastor Vanessa.
Thank you, Paula.
Wow, Paula.
All
thank
right.
you.
Wonderful. Wonderful testimonies this morning. Thank you so much. All right, let's go to our reading about the marriage supper of the Lamb.
The Mother of Peace, Chapter 3, The Marriage Supper of the Lamb, page 65 to 70. Marriage Supper of the Lamb, the true meaning of sacrifice. My mother officially joined the Unification Church in Seoul on December 15, 1955. Early in the following year, a small yet historic first step was made as the Chuncheon Unification Church convened its first public Sunday service at a home in Yaksa-dong. I was a young girl of 13 who had just graduated from Hwangri Elementary School. One day when the sun was shining brightly, my mother said to me, "Let's go to Seoul for the day." Without knowing why we were going, I followed her. That was the day I first met Father Moon. Chanpadong Church, where we met, was a small 2-story wooden house. The Korean government had categorized it as enemy property because it had been owned by the Japanese during their occupation of our country. It was more like a home than a church. I greeted Father Moon politely as he returned the greeting, he asked my mother, "Who is this child?" "This is my daughter," she replied. With a look of surprise, Father Moon gazed at me as he said to my mother, "You have such a pretty daughter." He then closed his eyes as if in meditation and asked my name. I politely replied, "My name is Hakjahan." As if struck by something, Father Moon spoke very softly to himself. "Hakjahan has been born in Korea. Hakjahan has been born in Korea. Hakjahan has been born in Korea." After saying this 3 times, he began expressing gratitude to God, saying, "You sent such a magnificent daughter named Hakjahan to Korea. Thank you." Then Father Moon spoke to me as if he were asking me to gather my resolve. "Hakjahan, you will need to make sacrifices in the future." "Yes," I replied, surprised at my own forwardness. On the way home on the train, my mother and I thought the encounter was curious. "How strange," she said. "Why would he repeat that you were born in Korea 3 times? As we fell into silence, I contemplated the word sacrifice. The word Father Moon used took on a meaning different from what I had learned in textbooks. What he was alluding to was a higher dimension of sacrifice, a nobler and more complete sacrifice. What you sacrifice is important, but why you make that sacrifice is even more important. As I listened to the rhythmic rumble of the train and looked out the window at the scenery as it slipped by, I couldn't stop thinking, I couldn't stop thinking about what Father Moon had said. I thought about what I might need to sacrifice for. From that day, the word sacrifice was engraved in my heart. Thinking back as the person called to live as the mother of peace, I realized that over time, sacrifice became a name I could call myself. God is my father. From the time I could understand words, my maternal grandmother, Cho Won-mo, consistently taught me one thing: God is your father. She went so far as to say, your mother is like a nanny who is raising you as God's daughter. Since I had been surrounded by an atmosphere of faith, even while in my mother's womb, I accepted this without a second thought. When I heard the word God, my heart would open unreservedly and fill with warmth. My mother did not mind investing herself, body and soul, for the purpose of raising me to reject secular life and follow God's way. She lived with single-minded devotion and absolute unity with and obedience to God. After joining the Unification Church, our family moved to Seoul, where she worked even harder to protect me from the world's temptations. As a result of her dedication, God allowed me to see myself as a noble crane.
Even as an adolescent in middle school, I poured my heart into quiet reading and study. I attended the Sunjung Girls Middle School located in Sajik-dong of Seoul's Jongno district. Situated at the southern foot of Mount Inwang, it was a small school that seemed always bathed in sunlight. From the moment of its founding, that school shared in the suffering of the Korean people. It was established in May 1950, but had to close less than a month later due to the Korean War. After the war, its doors reopened, and, true to its mission, the school prepared many girls to become talented women who would help build a prosperous country. In 1981, the school moved to the Eunpyeong district of Seoul, and in 1984, its name was changed to Sunjung Girls Middle School. Our Tongyo group acquired the school in 1987 and brought it into the Sunhak Educational Foundation. I've continued to give it support and attention. In middle school, I spoke little and developed a calm personality. I studied hard and always ranked at the top of my class. I was pretty and modest, and as I was also quiet and well-behaved, I received love and attention from my teachers. My school life was uneventful. I only remember that I missed a day or two of school in the first year when I became quite sick. In my second and third years, I received an award for earning the highest grades in my class. I preferred to read in a quiet spot and listen to music rather than engage in social life or sports. My hobby was drawing. I enjoyed art and had some talent, but set aside the possibility of becoming a professional artist. For all 3 years of middle school, I was the class representative on the student council, and in the third year, I was the head of the student activities committee. I led many student activities, and this awakened my leadership abilities. One day, when the entire school was gathered, I went to the podium and announced the decisions of the student council. The teachers complimented me on my poise and confident attitude. After witnessing this side of me, which they had not seen before, one teacher commented, "Hakja seems gifted. I thought she was just quiet and docile, but actually she shows good leadership skills." During adolescence, I didn't worry about my life or losing my way. I credit this to my grandmother and mother instilling in me a deep faith in God and the habit of living in attendance to Him. My mother in particular strictly guided my life of faith. Yes, there were times when I thought it difficult and wearisome, but I am grateful now, for it prepared me to blossom as the only begotten daughter of God, who one day would meet the only begotten Son of God. Within that atmosphere, I grew roots of unshakable faith. I read a lot. I enjoyed reading Tales of the Saints, and particularly The Good Earth by Pearl S. Buck. The characters in that book struggle against nature and fate. The story helped me realize that ultimately we must return to nature's embrace, represented in that book by the earth. It is human nature to cling to God's embrace. I earnestly wished to be together with God, and for that reason I devoured songs and novels about the love of one's hometown. I knew from a young age that God is my Father, and naturally connected everything I read to God. I cut off entirely from the harsh secular world and lived a chaste life as if I were a nun. I was aware that a higher power was guiding me, that my path had been prepared in heaven. Especially during this time, the Bible was my close companion. I cried myself to sleep many nights after reading about God's history of creation, the tragic fall, and God's work of salvation carried out through historical figures who took responsibility at the behest of heaven. I learned how they sacrificed themselves and realized that God created us so He could love us as His children. After reading God's bitter history and His desire to embrace us, even though we give Him only pain and sadness, it was not just once or twice that I lay awake, unable to sleep, my heart aching for Him. I naturally continued to ponder ever more deeply what Teacher Moon has said to me about sacrifice. The question, what can I sacrifice for God, was shaping my life. Thank you.
Wow. Very nice. What a great reading. Who knew mother was so much into the Bible when she was young? I didn't know that. Also, her leadership skills began to blossom. People didn't see it at first, kind of like our situation today, right? We didn't recognize mother's leadership all those years when father was alive, but now she's standing up as the leader. Beautiful. Thank you, girls, for a nice reading. Today we have a testimony from Mika Miyagi, going to speak about LA Yayam activities. Let's hear from Mika.
Hello. Okay. So yes, just a short I guess update overview a little bit about spring and some of the activities that we have had. So for Easter, we did have Easter service led by the young adult service team. And so we had a lot of Easter activities, egg painting and egg hunt for the little kids. And it was very successful, lots of little children running around. And for the middle school, high school, we actually also held Easter workshop. It wasn't that Easter weekend, it got a little postponed. But yeah, we actually had 22 participants, which was more than we expected. So we're really grateful for the turnout. We had opening from Takayo and Josh Holmes, and our lectures were on Jesus on their life course from Jennifer Pierce, and we also had a little testimony by Brian. And we practiced like washing feet like Jesus and like learning from him. And they just had a lot of fun. And we also baked for bake sales to fundraise for One Heart as well, which is soon. And then we also had this isn't necessarily Yayam, but then yeah, it was also hosted by the young adults service team, the Sunday bruncheon team. And so there's a lot of actually people from people that we haven't seen in a long time, but there's a lot of young people having really good time, a lot of good food. So we're very grateful for how that turned out as well. And then, throughout this whole time, we also had Sunday school going on for different classes for all ages, from kindergarten all the way up to high school. And so here's some of our classrooms, everyone doing activities. This is a picture from our last day of Sunday school. And actually, we just had a promotion last 2 weeks ago, I think, for Sunday school. And then we also had our Roots and Wings ceremony for our seniors graduating. So some of them are going off to GPA, some of them are going off to college and CARP and those things. So we're very proud of them. And yes, actually that same day, we also had another One Heart fundraiser. So we did a car wash. So that was also a great turnout. We had a lot of people come and get their cars washed and support One Heart in that way. And yes, my report is mostly for youth ministries, but I just want to give a shout out. At the same time, there's a lot of different activities going on for YCLC, CARP, PWPA. They've been very active as well. So they have more of their report as they can also do. But yes, this is just a brief overview of some of the activities and some of the things that have been going on in LA and the youth ministries, young adult ministries here.
All right. Thank you, Mika. You're doing a great job. Yeah. All those great activities for our young people. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Mika. All right, everybody, let's go into our breakout groups and share what we learned today. Crazy. All right. I would like to ask Wayne Hankins to make the point that he made in our sharing.
I'd be happy to. Thank you. The reading today and the words that Mother spoke about her life of faith with her grandmother and her mother was without any longing for the secular world that was around them. It was not for advancing herself and growing in any kind of wealth and material aspects. It was totally on the word of God. There was no longing for what the secular world offered. There was no feeling left out of the secular world. Mother was united with God in God's word, the Bible. And through that, she created a mind and a spirit that is incomparable and that really qualifies her to be able to, with total confidence, know her identity as God's only begotten daughter. So this was a beautiful reading today and a great reminder of what it takes to be totally one with God. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Wayne. Good point. All right, appreciate that. Anyone else like to share this morning? Larry.
Oh,
Oh,
Muted, Larry.
I'm sorry, I pushed the wrong button. That happens when you get older. I was just thinking, you know, I read Mother's memoir many times, and I thought, why have I not read The Good Earth yet? That's the only book recommendation I ever saw from True Mother. And I thought, so I'm on eBay right now. I'm going to order The Good Earth. I'm going to get it, try to get it in Japanese too. But I thought, you know, what, how did I miss that? So I'll give a book report after I read it, but I recommend let's do that, see how that is. Thank you.
Very good. I wrote it down also. I need to get that book. I don't even know what it's about. Very good. Very good.
Yeah.
All right. Katrina is waving at me.
Give
yeah.
Katrina a chance.
Thanks, yeah. I read the book, The Good Earth again. I read it when I was young. It's a very gritty book. Anyway, it's an intense book if you read it. But besides that, I wanted to say that we have a guest from Colombia on with us today. His wife is in Carolyn.
Where is he? Where is he? I've been looking for him.
You can introduce him.
All right. I'm not sure what's going on here.
Yeah. Okay. It's my husband is on the Zoom from Colombia.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
South America. So I've been trying to find him, whether he's on or not. I don't see him, but anyway, I wanted to share, if I may. You didn't call on me, but I have my hand up. Is it okay?
I was just about to call on you.
Oh, okay. All right. Very good. Thank you. Yeah. So, you know, as we were talking in our group, the whole point really, I think we can all recognize that we have True Mother, but we also have the Age of Women. And women are just taking leadership roles everywhere you see more and more women coming to the forefront. So with Women's Federation in 1992, you know, that was when Mother really was proclaimed by Father. She could stand up and take her independent position. And he really put her in the forefront, you know, where she did a lot of speaking tours and that kind of thing. But even the United Nations claimed that the new millennium, 2000, was going to be the age of women. And that if you're going to like offer, like say if you get, because we work with, you know, smaller communities in Africa and that kind of thing, they said if you're going to give a donation to a small community, say in Africa, like alone, give it to the women, don't give it to the men, because the women will multiply it, the men will waste it. So it's the point is that it's really just, it's like Heavenly Mother is really coming to the forefront too. She is leading and guiding the providence now, along with True Mother. So it's just like, to me, it's like a no-brainer. This is it. This is the time of women. It used to be, in the beginning of history, I understand that it was a matriarch, not a patriarch. And so we're kind of coming full circle, but and it makes so much sense that Mother is the first representative of Eve, of the restored Eve. So we have to be so grateful to her that she's willing to take this position and do what she's doing.
Amen.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. The age of women. Women will multiply it, men will waste it. I resemble that remark. The age of women, like Mika Miyagi. Young lady gonna rise up and take ownership. All right. Susan's waving.
I just want to say that I'm so grateful to see Mika speaking, because I've known her since she was born, and she is the most amazing young lady. I was sharing what I know about her backstory, but she grew up with her parents not being alive. This is a big. She grew up so beautiful, and I'm so proud of Mika. I don't know if she's on there, but if I say there, I say I'm proud of you. I'm so proud of you, Mika, because you are so wonderful. You grew up so beautiful.
Oh, so
Yeah, look at her beautiful smile.
Yeah.
Put her smile on. She's got a beautiful smile. She's a beautiful young lady. I'm very proud of you.
Yes, indeed.
Okay.
Thank you, Aunt Susan.
Yeah. Thank you, Mika, for all that you do. All right. How about Emily?
Okay, you're amazing. Yeah, well, since you're taking book suggestions, I wanted to put a movie out there. I was mentored by Pat Deffelson, and one of the things she really gave me was just creative ways on how to connect to True Mother and her energy and understand who she is. And a movie came out like a couple years ago, Wonder Woman, I think is what it's called, with Gal Gadot. And she was like on a call with me one time, watch that movie. Did you watch it? I'm like, what is this movie? But in that movie, Wonder Woman, it's like she grows up on this island of all women, and they're like warriors, and she's never seen a man before, she doesn't even know what that is. Like, it's just and she grew up very pure. And then she I can't remember exactly, but she goes to the world. She goes on this boat, and then she finally meets a man, and they're telling her about marriage, and she's like, what is that? And she's just asking these very pure-hearted questions, like, why do you do this? And they're like, I don't know, we just do it because everyone else does this. And yeah, it just reminds me of True Mother and how I don't know, someone was saying something, but yeah, just want to put that out there if you want to watch a movie.
Wonder Woman. Thank you. I've seen that advertisement for that movie. I always thought it was stupid, but now I'll watch it.
Yeah, it's good.
Well, sometime after the soccer game. Okay. Thank you, Emily. I'm
Thank you. Yeah, that Wonder Woman movie is actually pretty good. But I'm still reflecting on when Father said the word, the different word in Korean for sacrifice, and then True Mother is being that sacrifice, because in English we think sacrifice it, thinking of it's like we're giving up something, but as I'm reflecting on it, think how that this part in the memoir, how it can in art. I mean, I don't think it's not just when you think of the sacrifice, you sacrifice something, but at the same time you kind of gain something from it. I think that's maybe what the feeling I'm getting from this part of the story is. I mean, if True Mother had not made the sacrifices that she had to do in her life, she wouldn't be where she is at now. And it just got me thinking about in our life, in our date, in our experiences, if we don't make the sacrifices, then we could potentially miss a lot of opportunities of blessings or big things to come to us. I kind of feel that that's kind of the feeling I'm getting from this, is that thinking of a higher level of sacrifice, that you're giving up something and it might feel not so good. And I know a lot of us were like, we don't want to give up because we can't see what lies ahead. But if we are willing to make the sacrifice and unite, then big things can come after. I hopefully that makes sense. I guess like the analogy I was sharing in my group that try to make sense of it was like, I'm not working, I'm staying at home, and my husband's working, so we're on one income. But in order to get that lifestyle, we had to make sacrifices for it. So that's what kind of the feeling I got. I was like, okay, we made sacrifice, we united together, and then we got this kind of lifestyle, and it's been very pleasant for us. So I was thinking maybe that's one of many examples in our life that if we are willing to give up something, sacrifice for something better, or give up something, then something else comes our way. Even maybe in a spiritual life, we're willing to sacrifice. I hope that makes sense. I just feel like it's not to look at sacrifice as something in a negative or in a kind of sad way, but as an opportunity for bigger blessing or blessing to come in return to, yeah. Thank you.
All right, beautiful, thank you. Mother asked the question to herself, what do I need to sacrifice for? Because if you know what you're sacrificing for, then the sacrifice isn't so difficult, right? If you know your purpose. So Mother knew she had to sacrifice to become the only begotten daughter and stand up. Beautiful, beautiful sharing today. I love the way that our sharing is going. We read and share that it's bringing out lots of good things that we can learn from each other. And that's very wonderful. All right. I would like to ask Sachiko Sato if you could close us in prayer, please.
Okay, please join me in prayer. Dearest, most beloved Heavenly Parent, thank you so much, Father, for this most precious time that we are living in at the time of our beloved true Mother, who has come to the forefront and who is working so hard, so desperately hard to fulfill your will, Father. She understands how long you have waited and how much sacrifices you have made in order for us to be here at this time when true Mother could be here standing and working so hard to accomplish your will. Thank you so much for our true Father in the spirit world. Father, please, we pray, Father, that at this time we can understand what we must do as your filial sons and daughters, children who know the heart of our true parents, know your heart, Father, and can sacrifice our lives, Father, for your sake. It really requires so much now, how to turn this world around, how to bring you back into this world. What must we do? What kind of sacrifices must we make in order to do that, Father? So please, Father, we pray, Father, that we can really understand the heart of our beloved true Mother and how we can really support her, and especially Damien Dunkley here in America, what we can do. And we are so grateful for our leaders and for all of our young people coming up. So wonderful, so beautiful. Thank you so much for all that you've given to us at this time. And we pledge you our lives with all of our hearts and minds in the names of our blessed central families, David and Sachiko Sato, Arju.
That's you. Thank you, Sachiko. Nice prayer. All right. Thank you, everybody. God bless you. Have a great day. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you, Damien. Thank you, Pastor.
Have a good day.
Bye.
Thank you, Mrs. Payne.